having fun? You are almost facing the right way. It's wonderful. You're right at the back. Right, we'll keep it going. Will you please welcome to the stage, Henrik Danielsen!
I feel like most of you looked at me and thought, that's a lesbian bus driver. That's what I look like. Some of you thought, that's Lone, the one who drives the 4A. That's what I know that's what I look like. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing on lesbian bus drivers. They're great at their jobs because, LGBT community, a lot of smart people in there. So if they chose to drive a bus, it's because they want to be there, It's a good thing, Yeah. You don't want some guy who can only be a bus driver. He does not want to be there. And you don't want to be on that bus when he's on the bridge and he's like, fuck this. I'm taking 70 people with me into the Copenhagen Canal. I am from Jutland. I live in Aarhus. Thank you for making no noise for that. It's Jutland. Oh, if you're a foreigner and you've heard from Copenhageners about Jutland, let me just clear some things up for you. It's exactly what they're saying. It is awful. The worst part is southern Jutland. I don't know if you've been. I was there recently. Don't go. It's fucking awful. It is. But something happened to me. Is there any people from southern Jutland in here? You're from southern Jutland? Yeah. Do you live here?
No, in Aarhus as well.
Oh, okay. Exactly. It is the worst part of the country. It genuinely sucks. It's nothing on Germany, but I think it's the approximate location. It's right next to Germany. It's not a good mix, Danes are awkward as it is. Imagine adding German culture to that shit. Ugh. But I was there. I had to do like a julefrokost, a Christmas party for some people, and I was there like an hour early. So I walked around this small town, and they had a hunting goods store, like where you sell like hunting goods if you're a hunter. And the name of the store was translated into English, sausages and shotguns, which made me laugh. Because you'd never see that in like the big cities. You wouldn't see that in Aarhus. You wouldn't see that here in Copenhagen. They'd have to rebrand. They had to be called, I don't know, kebab and prap or something. I don't know. Something like that. I'm dealing with an awkward haircut at the moment. It's a long story. It happened last year. I've always been a guy with very long hair, the types with long, gross, like greasy hair down to here. And there's a reason why I had that. It's because I hate when women talk to me. When women see a guy with hair down to here that's greasy, they think, ugh, World of Warcraft. So they leave you alone. But last year I decided to get a haircut. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to a barbershop for the first time in like 12 years. And I went into this barbershop. The one I chose was the one that is closest to where I live. And I don't live in a fancy neighborhood. So I get in there, and the guy who works there is one guy. His name is Hassan. He's 70 years old. He's from Egypt. He's a very nice guy. But the first thing that happens to me when I get in there, he goes, "Hey, what's up, chief?" And now I'm worried. Because I've been here less than 10 seconds and he's already made me part of the administration of this store. So something is wrong. I asked him, Hassan, can you give me a trendy haircut? He says, absolutely. I sit down in the chair and about 25 minutes later, I walk out with what can only be described as the full Hitler Jugend. The one that like short on the sides over here. It's also kind of a lesbian haircut. It is. I don't know why those two groups have such overlap. But it is what it is. I went back about 5 or 6 times during that year. I cannot stress how close to my house this place is. But about 3 or 4 months ago, I had enough of that haircut. So I decided I can do it better and cheaper by doing it myself, which was also a mistake. I had learned nothing from my time as administrator of that barbershop. Let me describe it like this. It happened in sort of what I would call a Britney moment. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm referring to like Britney Spears in 2006, who has a really bad day, where she, in part mental breakdown and what has become partly like a feminist power move, she shaved all of her hair and caused a ruckus, because that's all you have to do as a woman in modern society, is to shave your hair and everybody goes, what the fuck? You know? And I thought, if Britney can do it, so can I. Let me just say it like this. When women shave their hair, it's sort of like a sign of female empowerment now. When white men shave their hair, it's just sort of a signal of white empowerment. It's not great. It's not a great look. Moving on. I prepared, because I'm in Copenhagen full of smart people, I prepared a smart joke for you guys. It's about the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. Do you know him? Yeah. He's a very smart guy. He said a lot of smart things. And he famously said, baby girl, I carry a 10-ton of fatness. Give me some of that. That was my mistake. That was the singer Jean-Paul who said that one. I always mix them up. You know, yeah, I mix them up, yeah. But you know, like the singer Jean-Paul said, you are your choices. Some of them are figuring it out. That was the philosopher who said it. Yeah. All right. Moving on. I obviously I want to be a huge comedian, like titan of comedy, like Adrian said. But I've noticed, I don't know if you've seen online, most comedians nowadays, what they'll do is they'll do like clips of them talking to the audience. Yeah. So that's how you get big now. It's called crowd work. And I want to do it, but it's also like most of the clips, it just ends up being bullying. Have you seen this? And I don't really, it doesn't feel right to me. But, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. So, hey, what up, man? What's your name? Idiot. Fucking guy, what's your name? Emil, what an idiot name. What a fucking moron name you have, Emil. What do you do for a living, Emil? A bank advisor. They're buildings. You don't need to advise them. They can't speak. Fucking idiot over here. Talks to buildings. What a moron. All right, moving on. I love doing that bit. I'm sorry, Emil. You haven't whitewashed some criminal money at all? Oh, what? I called myself a Nazi before, but somebody's like, ooh, mismanagement of money, that's worse. All right. I'm in my 30s. It's fun. It's fun being in your 30s because you want to do all the things that young guys in their 20s want to do. You just can't do it anymore. So you just watch jealously. Yeah, because I go out sometimes on off days, you know, like on a Tuesday. Ooh, go out on a Tuesday. And then you see like a table of 20-year-olds, and one of them has spent their money on buying like a rack of 10 shots. Have you seen this? Like a group of 20-year-olds with like 10 shots. And the same reaction every time 20-year-olds drink on a Tuesday. It's, woo! Shots! Yeah, Tequila Tuesday! If I do that with my group of friends at 30, it's a different reaction. It's a lot more, no. No. Why would you buy clear liquids? I have a meeting with my bank lady next month. I'm not gonna survive. Well, that's the tip of the iceberg. After your 30s, The worst part, the worst part is now the questions from your family members are no longer hopeful. Because we've just had Christmas. There's a lot of people who's gone home for Christmas, and you talk to your relatives. And when you're in your early 20s, there's some hope to the questions you get. You're like, oh, are you going to study something cool? Are you going to go for a trip? Are you going to go to Asia this summer? What's going to happen with you? And when you're in your 30s, they ask you questions like, have you paid into your pension fund yet? To which I have to respond, no. And I don't have a meal plan either. Because that's level 1 of being an adult, right? Is just planning your meal, is shopping one day in the week and then planning the rest of the week. And I panic every day at 3:45 because I have nothing and I have to go shopping again during rush hour. And that's the worst part, because when you get down to the store and you're in the queue at the checkout counter, you know, and you put your stuff up, you know you're gonna be the one with the grossest groceries in this whole store. And the people in line are judging me right now. And we all do it. We see some guy who has like 3 Toblerones and a Greek yogurt. And you're like, you're a pedophile. Like, that's just sort of like, we all think this horrible shit about each other. At the you know the dividers? Why are they not like 4 meters tall? To like, give us a little bit of privacy, you know? And I get down to the store and the only thing I buy is like pre-made pasta dishes. You know, like 5 packs of like German carbonara, like a gastronomic abomination. Put 5 of those on the checkout counter, and then there's just some prick in front of me, and all he has is like a bag of apples and a bucket of skyr. And I think, fuck, this guy runs. He probably has a pension fund as well. And I go to the same store too much. I go to the same store every day, to the point where the lady at the checkout counter, she started recognizing me. She doesn't know my name. She just calls me the pasta guy. And then the worst thing happens is that she's seen me so much that it's no longer enough to just say, like, do you want a receipt? She does like small talk to me now. That's not what you want. When you're standing there with like 5 packs of German pasta, she looks at them and then she'll look at you and she'll try and be nice and say stuff like, oh, I think they taste great as well. Don't do this. We both know it's sad. I get in here every day at 3:45. I buy 5 packs of pasta. So either I'm eating 5 packs of pasta a day, or I'm saving up pasta for some kind of Russian missile crisis. And you work in Lidl, so nobody's happy. The ones that are laughing, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I try to go to different stores now. I try to go to the ones that have the self-scan, the self-checkout. Clap if you use self-checkout in the grocery stores. Yeah. Can you hear that? That's the sound of people who also grocery shop really disgustingly. Who has just disgusting shit in their buckets, you know? And that's why we use self-checkout, is to not feel surveilled when we're, you know, because you feel like a little bit more privacy on your part. You can have, it's the same reason why McDonald's is a lot better now when they have those screens. Because there used to be a time where you had to go up and say to another person how disgusting you were. Look another person in the eyes and go, I need 6 team boxes. Only chili cheese tops. And no questions. Now you just plop it into a screen, and it doesn't matter if you want to buy 6 team boxes or just 1 cheeseburger. You get the same length of receipt from McDonald's. Have you seen those? Those fucking like 14-meter long goddamn receipts from McDonald's. What the fuck information do they need to give us? That is so pertinent. That the thing, there's enough paper there that you could go home and like put it on your walls and just McDonald's home, you know? It's so weird. Like, is there just like on those receipts? Is there just a fucking like just I don't know like a citation on when World War III is starting and who does it? You know. But that's why I like self-scan, because self-scan is great. You don't have to feel surveilled, and I can give you a reason why I use it. A product I would never buy if there's only like a standard normal checkout with a person, which is nacho dip. Do you know what I'm talking about? The orange. It's the only thing you can describe it with. In the jar, the orange in the jar. The one, even if there were no lights in Netto, you still knew where it was. You know, that one, I would. There's not enough like self-confidence on this planet for me to put that on a checkout counter with other people in a queue behind me. I'd have to go into like a weird sort of like acting thing. You know, put it up and be like, oh no, that should have been a salsa. I must have taken the wrong thing off the shelf. But I can see there's like 12 people in the queue. So I'm just gonna have to live with my mistake because I don't want to waste their time. And as much as I love self-scan, self-checkout, it's not perfect. It has, like, I will call it a design flaw because it's meant to be there, but it's that fucking like light fixture they put on it that goes 4 meters up in the air so it can see when you fuck up, like it starts blinking red. So everybody in Netto can be like, there he is. The fucking moron who can't fix, you know, like a barcode and a laser. What the fuck is this guy doing, you know? And you're in Netto now. There is no customer support in Netto. The screen doesn't help you either. Like, if you make a mistake, it's not gonna be like, hey buddy, everybody can make mistakes. It's okay, try again. No, it goes into DEFCON 5 lockdown. And now you have to get help from a Netto employee, like a 16-year-old with a hangover, you know? You've been to Netto, right? I don't know what it is. The official policy of Netto apparently is answer any question with, Ask a Netto employee when you're there next time where the confectioner's sugar is. And they're just gonna be like, I don't fucking know, dude. You should try this pile of garbage in the corner. We call it the spot wares. And this is the guy who has to help you now with the self-scan machine. And you know how awful it is? Because now, before you were grocery shopping, and now it feels like you brought drugs into the airport. Because he has to go through your stuff to make sure you're not like fucking Netto over or something. And you know how embarrassing it is? He just takes one jar of nacho cheese after another out of my bag. And when he's halfway down, he can see there's quite a lot of pasta down here, buddy. What the fuck are you eating, dude? Jesus Christ, and you're sweating in here. How are you? There's air conditioning, man. What? The worst part about that experience was he said it over the loudspeakers. That was the worst part. And what can I respond with? Can I just look at him and be like, oops. They should all have been salsa. Moving on. I mean, I know I don't have a lot of problems. I think my biggest issue right now is companies using AI when they don't need to. You know, like Spotify, have you seen it? Spotify put AI on their shuffle button. Yeah. I use Spotify a lot to listen to a lot of music, and I thought it was like cool at first, like, oh, they'll add new music depending on what the playlist I'm on, so I might get like new music I like. Turns out it's from your fucking full account, and I don't know if you guys have ever been around situations like watching kids where you might play music you wouldn't normally listen to on a road trip. You know, I did that last Christmas. I watched my nephew, so we listened to Christmas music. And I'll explain this quickly. I listen mostly to sad boy music. Like stuff that makes you cry, and there's a good reason for it, is because when I'm not doing this, I work for the government, and Anybody who works in the public sector, you know what I'm talking about. You need to cry before you get in there. It's important to survive in public work. So when I'm on the bus listening to like Radiohead, you know, songs like How to Disappear Completely. Can you feel it? We're already crying. And it just goes straight into Santa Claus is Coming to Town. It ruins the vibe quite a lot. And also, because that song is not a fun song. Do you know Santa Claus is Coming to Town? Yeah? Yeah. It's not a fun song at all. Have you heard it before? It's terrible. Because, and they'll explain it, and they sing it in the song. They go, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. That's not Santa Claus. That's the Chinese government. That is... That's why I prefer Germany. Germany, they have invented an evil Santa Claus to deal with this problem of putting weird stuff on Santa. Because that's a weird song. Like, make Santa like a guy who watches you when you sleep. Who's gonna find that fun? Be like, he's gonna come with presents, but he's also gonna watch you when you're sleeping and most vulnerable. Yeah. In Germany, they just invented an evil Santa Claus. So they have Santa Claus, who gives presents, and then they have a character called Krampus. And Krampus is like a demonic goat who will come and punish the bad children instead of giving them gifts. And how does he do it? He either beats them with clubs made of birch wood, or he eats them. And German parents are fine with this. They can, like some German parent just telling his kid, be like, "Hallo Hansi, meine lieber Kinder, ja." And now Henrik will switch to English in this joke because it's easier for him. So Hansi, you've been a sehr gut Junge, very good boy all year. Yes, you've been a very good boy. But then this Tuesday you threw yourself on the ground in Føtex and had a tantrum. And I don't know if that's enough for Krampus to eat you. So good night. You might, but then you might think, oh, but Papa, why won't you defend me against the satanic goat man who wants to eat me? Because, like all parents know, their children are the apple of their eye. They are their most precious possession. So obviously, most parents would defend their children against a demon who wants to eat their kids. But you have to remember, Hansi, we're Germans. We follow orders. If there's any German people in the audience, I'm sorry. But also, you know what you did. I don't know. I like, because then Conrad's gonna come up here afterwards and be like, "Hey, what about Hüge?" And you guys will be like thinking about the Holocaust at this point. And I know it's an easy joke to make, and just be like a comedian, be like, "Haha, the Germans were Nazis." They were. They invented it, actually. They aren't anymore. It's a completely different country. Completely different, you know? Like, I don't know if you've been to Germany recently. It's a very progressive country. It's they've taken full responsibility for their past. More responsibility than Danish people would have taken if we were in their stead. Because Hitler wasn't even from Germany. He was from Austria. Imagine if Danish people had elected a Swedish guy. And he committed genocide. We would have spent the rest of our fucking lives blaming Sweden for all of it. We would have done nothing. I find myself fascinated a lot with Germany. I think it comes in your 30s. You start watching Band of Brothers every weekend, and then Hitler documentaries every Sunday. It is what it is. Fun facts about Germany: it's the fourth biggest economy in the world. Woo! They actually are you German over there? Yeah. I'm sorry. You can't help it. I don't know how to get out of this now. But and they also, one good thing Germany did was found one good. We can find one thing, one thing. What? Did you say Nazis? That's not the answer we were looking for. They founded the EU, actually. Did you know this? There were other countries involved. But the plan for making the EU was to unite Europe under a strong German economy, which sounds like a plan they had before. Slightly differently done. But twice they tried that shit. 1914, the Germans come forward and all like, hello everybody, it's the Germans. We've invented this thing called a Reich. It's gonna be under Kaiser Wilhelm. It's gonna be sehr gut and fuck England. And then we all sort of said no. Not in Denmark. We sold soup to both sides. We did. We war profiteered during World War I. We war profiteered on selling soup to both sides of the war. It's called the Goulash Barons. Go and Google it. It's insane. So basically, imagine that. Imagine being like a French soldier in a trench. And then just like the most sort of Lars Larsen type comes over the edge and is all like, bonjour. I have a very good tilbud for you. Do you want some soup? That'll be 40 kroner silver plate. But then, it stopped, and this is when Hitler came forward. Post World War I, Germany were asked to pay a lot of reparations to the rest of Europe, maybe in an unfair way. And then at the end of the 20s and the start of the 30s, they had the big economic meltdown in America, and it affected most of Europe as well. And that's where Hitler came forward. And that's when, at the time, he hadn't done any of the terrible stuff. I'm not defending Hitler here. Don't keep with me, is what I'm saying. I know you're with me, but it is. But when he comes forward, he's a kind of an exciting guy because he was good at rhetoric. He got people fired up. He had like a fancy mustache. He had gone to art school. He was that time's Tobias Rahim. So it's understandable they fell for it, And some of you might be like, are you calling Tobias Rahim Hitler point 2? I am. Where did I get that information? On a McDonald's receipt. Right at the end. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. I want you to give it up for your fantastic host, Adrian Mackinder!